All right, well, we'll see how this goes, but I'm pretty sure I'm only coming in mono on the left cup. I'm trying to figure out why. So, anyways, welcome to the channel. Tonight's just a random hangout. Um, tonight I'll be sipping on some Bunad, Speyside single malt scotch from Aberlour. So, should be kind of a fun one. And then I might pop a beer here as well. But let me know if you can hear me. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, I only left. Yeah, it says it's. I might have to restart. I might have to restart this. I don't know why it's only one. So I go into properties and it says down mix to mono is off. So I think that's the prop would be the thing. I'm assuming. Yeah, massive reverb. Oh, I might be having double mics on too. Um, hmm. Let's see. I shouldn't have any. Let's see what else is picking up. Should be having massive reverb. That's good. Elnick, what's going on? That is not good. Um, yeah, it's kind of a weird one. Right before the stream, I got a automatic download of my streaming service, or I'm using OBS, and it, I don't know, got all wonk. I had it all set up this morning, and then came in and it was all jacked up. So, give me 1 sec. Oh, it sounds good. Is it coming in stereo now, or is it still mono left cup? Because it looks like it's still mono left cup, or mono one side. Could be. Oh, and I also probably it really high. Oh, that might be why too. Let's try that. How about now? Do I sound a little bit better now in audio? The Scarlett. I have a Scarlett I'm using right now, and it's. I might switch back to like there's the Rode mic, just because that was just so much easier. The little USB mic. Yeah, it's okay, audience. You're not audio snobs or anything, right? Uh huh. Oh man. Oof. That is a intense pour. I'm gonna keep trying to figure this out, but um, dual mono stereo. So you're getting it in both cups or both. Now it's very quiet. Let me put that on. Put the air back on. Let's see. See if that worked. Turn up the volume a little bit. See if that goes. Still quiet. There we go. Should be better now. I think I should be in there. Yeah, I only left here. I might have to reset OBS real quick, because that's the way these things work sometimes. Let me see if I can do that real quick, and I'll keep it going, and I'll just disappear for a sec and come back, hopefully. All right, 1 second. Test, 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 test. There we go. So I think I should be live now. I think we should be good, and then I think I figured it out. There. Test, test, test. That should be doing it, I think. Anyways, if not, it's gonna be left ear, and we'll have crappy time with left ear streaming. So, still left, son of a. I just changed it. I clicked another thing to see if that will do it, but yeah, mono. I might switch back to the Rode mic. I don't know why it's doing that. Weird. Anyways, the IT crowd, yeah. Crowd didn't even. Yeah. So anyhow, so I'm having a fun day, apparently. Gosh, live streaming. I forgot how I've been so deep into doing the just videos, right? That I haven't done a live stream in forever, and it's just I don't know, it's crazy. Oh, okay, just fine here. But yeah, it might be because it's the way that the speakers work. But if yeah, on headphones, I think it's only coming through on the left cup. I don't even know why I am wearing headphones, because I don't really need to. I don't have a guest or anything like that, so I can put these off to the side. Anyhow, how's everybody's evening so far? I need to figure. Hopefully, this will be figured out for the next one. I'll look into this whole mono stuff. I might have to switch out to doing the Rode mic moving forward, just because it's a USB mic and I can just pop it over and start doing these more. But I don't know. How's everybody doing? What's anything you guys want to talk about or chat about? Hang out, that kind of fun thing. Sully really was only doing this just because it was a fun way to hang out and chat and see what everybody's been up to, and I haven't done one in a long time, so I figured I'd jump on, and then some people were asking for it. Use a bullhorn. Uh-oh. Is it still pretty quiet? Let's see here if I can't boost it up here. A bump, and then crank, test. There we go. That should be better. Let's see, properties. I don't know why I'm trying to like look around my camera. I just moved the screen. Let's see, filters, performance. There we go. Ha! Found it. I found the problem. So we should begin in stereo now. We're in stereo. We're in the future. Living in the stereo. Gosh. Yeah. So I had clicked on stereo in one setting, but there's a whole nother setting in another window that I had to click to make it go stereo. So it's like technology. It's fantastic, especially for us guys that are getting older and drinking. So yeah, so tonight I am drinking this lovely scotch, the Aberlour Abunad. I think that's how it's pronounced, but I could be completely wrong. It's actually pretty good. It's a matured in Spanish Oloroso sherry butts. I don't know how I feel about things matured in sherry butts. But 61.2% alcohol by volume, so it's kind of a potent boy. Yeah. Actually, I'm digging on it. The first pour is a little bit hot, but getting into it, it's pretty good. Then I have waiting in the wings this lovely thing. That's Goose Island, or Bourbon County Goose Island stout aged in, I think this one is just straight bourbon barrel. Yeah, so bourbon barrel aged stout. These are pricey, and they only come out like once a year, I think. So it's kind of a unique bottle. So I might dig into that a little bit later. So how's everybody doing? And anything you guys want to talk about? I'm trying to think what I have on hand. I still have the HD8XXs floating around here somewhere. Yeah, they're over there. Those were interesting. We can talk about that a little bit. I think that's an interesting topic. It's just been, I think that one's been dead horse, but oh wow, yeah, that's hot. Now my mic's hot. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. So I got so used to doing this, like the regular videos, and I have it all set up perfectly for that. And then now going back to the live stream, my audio's all messed up. My settings are all messed up. Oof. Danger, Will Robinson. But anyhow, imagine how Sherry found it. Yeah, truth. I'm also eventually I'd like to do more live streams, but with more focused on interviews. Yeah, the HD8XX to the Verite. Yeah, I think that the Verite smokes the crap out of the HD8XX. Let's see here. Let me go grab it. So right now I have the Verite opens, and I have the HD8XX. And honestly, the 8XX, it's not like it's a bad... I mean, I already thought the Verite smoked the HD800s, so then you throw in these just give a little bit more bass and low end to the sound signature of an HD800, and then it's like the sound low end is better. I mean, that's relative, but the things that this does to my beloved HD800 sound signature is that it collapses the sound stage. The imaging is more or less still there. It's a little bit fuzzier. I'm trying to think. The highs are very rolled off, and it's like a smoothed out sound signature, and to me it sounds compressed. It sounds almost like if you were to have, excuse me, it's almost like it's almost, if you've ever over EQ'd a headphone, like digitally over EQ'd a headphone, that's kind of how this sounds. And then the stage is like brought down, and I feel like the mids are slightly pulled back even further than what the HG800s did. So, I mean, and it's not like I don't want to rip it off my head and go, oh, this is a horrible headphone or anything like that. It's still super comfortable. It's still built like an HG800, and the sound is still good. It's just not what I would want, especially out of what I know an HG800 sounds like. I think that's where the disparity or division comes, right? So like, if you had never heard an HG800 before and you put these on, I think you'd be pretty happy with them, to be honest. It's if you know what the HG800 sounds like and are familiar with it, and we're just wanting a cheap HG800, that these fall apart, I think. Because they don't sound like an HG800 really. Like the big one is the staging completely collapsed. Yeah. You know, so this is gonna be. I didn't mention it in the. I was thinking about this, and I didn't put it in my video or anything. But they kind of remind me of the. And this is even worse. They sound like the HG700 with no stage. That's what these sound like to me, a little bit. In fact, I have the HG700s in my thing. I should have compared those, but like, that's what it kind of reminds me of. It reminds me more of the HG700 with no staging, is what these sound like to me. And compared to the Verite Opens, which these, I mean, it's I'm biased as all heck when it comes to the VOs and the Verite Clos. These just are chocolate peanut butter deliciousness. Like, they are heaven in a headphone to me. Like, I love the sound of these. These have that, they're not quite as wide as like the OG HG800s, but they have a really good width to them on the stage. Has more of that 3D sound signature. There's more depth, a little more height. The overall balance of the headphone, as far as like the lows to the mids to the highs, I think for me is just like right there. So I hope that answered your question, Mohammed. Let's see. Have you heard about the Ferrum Audio or? Yes. Man, that thing. I want to try it. It looks cool too. Like it. From my understanding, it's everything that everybody wanted the THX AAA amp to be. But it's expensive. It's very expensive. Let's see. I haven't heard it, but I would like to. That thing looks pretty cool and sounds like it'd be pretty awesome. Have you guys listened to the new Diana? I haven't heard the new Diana. I was talking to a buddy who just got it in, though, and so he's excited about it, and I'm sure you'll see a video from him about it here in the next couple weeks. And yeah, so maybe I can convince him to let me borrow it, but I doubt it. That's an very expensive headphone. He sent out the HD8 XX to me, so we'll see. Yeah, that's what I think. And the thing with this is so from my understanding is, so these things are actually really easy to like take apart and kind of fix and mod and do all that fun stuff with. And so I don't know if I'll be able to show it here, but yeah, you can kind of see it if I can pull it. Okay, there you go. So if you can see see that black, like right here, that black. There's 3 spots of that black, and that's like a film, a tape film of some sort that it's on 3 parts of the cup on the inside, and you can so you can kind of see here if I can get it to show this. How am I going to get this to show? Here we go. There you go. If I can put it over here maybe, so you can kind of see it there. It's on the very bottom. It's like that big slab there, and then it's sorry, it's kind of weird because it's backwards. You can kind of see how it goes around. So there's 3 spots. There's one here, here, and here. And so those are the filters. That's kind of like a dampener or something like that that's on the inside of the cup there for reflection. So that's one of the things they did. And I'm not sure, like, yeah, it feels like I'm putting my finger in there and there's a bump. So it's some kind of a tape or like some kind of a thing that you could probably peel it out. So that's one of the things. And then from my understanding is that the inner, I have to turn this back on and blow out everybody's eyeballs. This part right here, this inner like spider web sun looking thing, is a little bit further away from the driver than what the HD800 or HD800S is or has, that where that placement is. So that's something to think about as well. So I think how they modded it, essentially, from my understanding. So maybe you could, I mean, there might be a potential if you were okay with like basically going in and taking all that stuff out and seeing what would happen. That could be a way to see if these would get down to the HD800 original signatures more. That might be, and if that was the case, then yeah, these might be a heck of a deal, to be honest. If you can go in and mod it yourself. I mean, these aren't mine. Otherwise, I'd see about pulling that tape stuff off and seeing what that sounded like. But it does seem like it's glued or it's tape. There's some kind of adhesive. God, why are words hard sometimes? Got hit in the head too many times as a youth. So I don't know how redoable it is, because I don't know what the material is. I don't know anything like that. Let's see. Yeah, and then it sounds like the standard HD800 has more magic, assuming you have an amp. And that's the other thing too, is with the HD800, to me, my favorite pairing with the HD800 has always been tube amps. Like, solid states work with them, and they're fine. I just think that the magic really starts to happen when you get them onto an OTL, especially. But I mean, anything with tubes gives that little extra warmth and what have you. And I do think that the HD800 in tubes are where it's at, especially like a bottle head crack or anything that's like an OTL or any of the amps and sound amps I've really enjoyed. I think DNA amps. Last time I heard DNA amp was like a couple years ago. I think it was the last one I heard was at ZM Festivus 2. But that would be a good pairing, I would think. Anything along those lines would be a good pairing for the HD800s. Let's see. What's up, David? Problem with the Diana is you have to wear them. Non-starter for me. Yeah, Diana's can be a little bit off. Like, they just don't have any. I think they fixed some of it with some of the padding. They're adding more padding to them now, and they're actually listening. Drop blew it. Ego, I'm 6'2", so I'm a 1 whole foot taller than you, my man. 8XX should have used the same plate. Yeah, I agree, man. Like, I think that if they would have just color swapped the 8XX and just left it alone, like, game over. That would have been a fantastic. It would have been no problems. Let's see. What headphones do you, headphones do you think have smooth treble? I find that most headphones have too many peaks and dips in the treble. I think that's one of the things with a lot of headphones in general. I mean, I think some things are going to be, if you have something that's like perfectly good in that realm, then there's always going to be lacking in another realm. I think there's like one of those things like is there like a perfect headphone out there? I don't think so. As far as smooth treble, I really like the ZMF Tour. I think that was a really good one for that, because the mids were so rich that kind of like the treble was rolled off a little bit more. Smooth treble. The VO is pretty decent at it, but there's definitely times where certain tracks can definitely aggravate any kind of or kind of highlight any kind of issues. So that might be a thing. So let's see here. So hopefully that kind of answered your question. I'm a ZMF fan though, but I'm trying to think another headphone that has smooth treble. God. Off the top of my head, I don't think planars in general. Maybe the the LCD GX, as I recall, that was a good one for like smoothness. I remember just how smooth that sounded across the board was the GX, which is ridiculous because it's a gaming headphone. But I think that's a disservice. I think buy that thing and then throw away the gaming cable and just plug in your normal cables, and that's an awesome headphone. It's also one of the lighter LCD headphones you can get. What do you think with the sudden increase of sin memes, HC580, Black Sylph? I think that's just the hipster thing, Drift. I think that's, people like to tinker, and that was a trend. God, the modded Sennheisers, when I first got into the hobby, that was all the rage too, was like modding the crap out of your headphones. So I think it's just on a cycle. like every few years people get sick of it and then go to whatever, and then they'll come back to it, and and I think it's cool. I mean, I think if you can mod your headphones and like make them sound the way you want, like I prefer modded headphones over doing like digital EQ, like if that makes sense. I think it usually sounds better. You get less issues, from my experience anyways. Yeah, I speak things hard muchly all the time. I also I was up late last night. My brother called me, and he's rebuilding a house right now. He bought a house, and it was a turnkey house, and he's like, you know what? I need to take apart the house, and so he went ahead and demolished the inside of the house and is rebuilding it now. And so he's been, so I ended up was chatting with him. We were drinking whiskey till like midnight last night, and then I woke up at 5 this morning. So my brain is not having a good one with that. Oh, Progi, yeah, Rad Zero. That's, it's so funny because I love the Rad Zero, and I always, for whatever reason, I just never think to say it. The Rad Zero is fantastic. Another one I really liked. Yeah, so Mohammed, like the only headphones I've ever modded were my HD800s, and then I'd modded a pair of HD700s. And then what other headphones? Oh, I bought a pair of those Monoprice, the LCD fake LCDs, and I modded the crap out of those. I've done those. Other than that, I'm the same. Like I would rather. I mean, I'll do pad swaps, that kind of stuff. But outside of that, I'm not too huge on doing the mods. Olivewood VC. I bet that's a beautiful headphone. I heard Vox bought like 40 dead. I've seen the pictures. Vox has like, he doesn't even need a soundproofing for his room anymore. He just hangs all of his Sennheisers in his living room on the walls, and that's his sound traps for his speakers. Maybe the 8X can be saved on the Lear 3. I mean, the 8XX, it's not like a complete dumpster fire, but it's definitely, like, it has some wonk to it. I can see where people could enjoy it, and it could be an enjoyable headphone for some people, but I think if you've enjoyed and liked the HD800 in any way, shape, or form, then I don't think the 8XX will be for you, though, in general. I mean, I think you'll be okay with it, but I think you'll instantly be like, this doesn't sound like 8XX, and I think that's the biggest problem with that headphone. And the cost of them, I think right now they're on sale for like $1,000, like $900 something. So yeah. Most realistic headphone I have ever listened to would probably be the most realistic SR1A from Raw. I think that was, I don't know if you really call those a headphone though, but the SR1A was really fantastic. I thought that was just stupid good. But that was more speaker than it was. Like, I really think of those as like on-ear speakers rather than headphones. If that makes like proper, like near field speakers. Outside of that, the most realistic. I really liked the Auteur for like the realisticness of its vocals, but the rest wasn't the greatest. They all have like parts of like things that they do really well for realism, what have you. The Susvara was pretty good, but I thought that one all the hi-fi men sound, they have this thing for me personally where I can't get into them because I feel the separation sounds fake to me. So I think that's where I have a problem with those, but those do sound pretty dang good. Utopias are pretty good. Depending on your preference and profile of what you think sounds realistic is also a factor. I feel like the VOs can be pretty darn compelling option, but they're more flavored for sure. But yeah, I think that would be, the SR1A would probably be the one that I like the most for realism. Let's see. Headphones. Oh, headphones are also, that's another one. I really enjoyed the headphones. They're just a little bit bulky and heavy, but the headphones, I actually thought they reminded me the most of like a better, like an upgrade to the HD800 was the headphone. Like I felt outside of like this, the headphone had a better like balance to it as far as sound signature, whereas the HD800 still had the wider stage, but I felt like the headphone was kind of like that next progression. If you were looking at like, okay, I have a HD800 and I love the sound of it, HD800, what would be the next thing that I want to kind of stay in that sound signature but move up a little bit. I felt like the headphone did a good job of that. Let's see. See the Susvara. See, I'm not the biggest fan. I thought the Susvara it's a very well done sounding headphone. I'm not a fan though. Like so for me, like I'm biased already. Like I think it was really well done. It's definitely a total headphone. I just didn't find it all that for me. I trying to put this into words that make sense. Like it's not that it was boring. I just didn't find it engaging for myself. Like when I listened to it, I'd rather be listening to my Verite Opens, or I'd rather be listening to something else, if that makes sense. Which I know is odd, but like whenever I've listened to this thus far, I've always been like, oh, this sounds really good, but I'd rather be listening to something else. So I think that's where that one falls for me. So I think it's a really well done headphone, but I do think that most hi-fi have that separation, which has a really sharp separation, and I think the Susvara did one of the best of the hi-fi for that regard, but it still has that separation that's sharp, which could translate into maybe like a spiky treble to some level, but I didn't really have spiky treble with it, if that makes sense. Let's see. Clears have good treble. I like clears. They can be a little bit bright. Rad Zero neutral tuning is very inoffensive. I do love the Rads, man. I do need to get a set of those eventually. I'm kind of going down like the speaker path though, on my personal audio side of the house. So like I'm waiting on some new amps coming in for my big Korn Scalas. So yeah, we'll see how that pans. Yeah, and people have been modding the freaking the Sennheiser series forever, like Elric says. It's been crazy. And yeah, you definitely, David, tubes. That's why, man, tubes are awesome. Like, give me all the distortion. I love it. It's fantastic. And then you have the Argons. Yeah, Argons can do some really good things. EQ. I agree. Is it neutral or is it standard tuning? I think it's the standard tuning. Is the neutral tuning? I think it's standard. The Sin meme is basically all the modders they have like there's like this, and it's been going on for, like Elmer was saying, forever. There's certain like unicorn Sennheisers that are older, like have like, what is it, like the black mesh screen, silk screen. You have like, there's different like materials that some of them have that others don't, and like the different, and so that's depending on which ones you get. And so yeah, JTB, you're right. Like as far as if EQ is something you want to dive into, I do have an RME ADI, but I'm not real big on. I mean, that's probably the one I would use the most. But my favorite way of EQing whenever I did have it was analog EQ. So something like the Lokius would be something I'd prefer over those, just because it's easier. You know, just a little bit easier for me to mess with. I don't have to think about it. I just turn a little knob instead of having to like put in the numbers and think about how it's going, kind of deal. Sundar was more my speed. Yeah, okay, Andrew. Yeah. I mean, I'll wear it on my sleeve. They do sound good. I'm not gonna lie and say that Sundara sounds like butt. It doesn't. It sounds good. It's a good sounding headphone. I'm just not a fan. You know, I think that's the best way to put it. And same with the Utopia. Like, I think the Utopia is fantastic. I'm also just not, like, I think the build of it looks fantastic. The build of it's fantastic, and it sounds fantastic. Once again, I'd rather listen to something else. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of where I fall in those things. Let's see. Centaurus more. Yeah, $49 right now. Should I skip a vacation for headphones? See, the headphones are huge, though. Like, they're they're proper big headphones. Like, they're, and they're heavy. So I don't know. If you can get a demo of them, I'd try that first if you can. But otherwise, I mean, or if you can have an easy return on them, something like that. Because those are divisive for the weight and size. But I do think. But everyone I've known that's heard them loves the sound. They just, a lot of them can't live with the weight of them, weight or size. I've been drinking. I'm drinking now. Oh yeah, and I polished off a bottle of whiskey last night with my brother. We were just sitting there chatting, having a good old time, and polished off a bottle of whiskey. So, so I was feeling it this morning and all day. I even took a little cat nap prior to the stream. And I'm gonna get banned from AD. Yeah, that's true. If I keep talking poo about the sus pus. And what headphones do you think have smooth travel? That's for you, Android. You can add. No, I see. I don't mind. Like I think some the chi-fi stuff, and that I don't Chinese fi. That's just where they're built. Like I don't have a problem with them. I think that I can appreciate where they come from, what they bring to the table, and I've heard plenty of fantastic sounding ones. And I like the IEMs coming out of there. I think that's a really crazy amount of IEMs coming out there. Sound ridiculously good for the pricing. But yeah, I think as long as something's good and is built well, like that's all I care about. Like I don't really care where it comes from. Like if it's a quality thing with passion behind it, then that's what matters. Actually was surprising. Actually, that's one of the other ones. Is the D8000, not the Pro, but the D8000. It's an expensive headphone. I did a review of it a little bit ago, I don't really like my thing calling them reviews, but my impressions, thoughts on it. That was smooth. I was shocked at how good that sounded, and especially when you look at like the Pro and everyone saying how bad the Pro is. That was a smooth sounding headphone, and it was I thought well done. I have a camera strap thing on me. I forgot I had these on. So that's another one that's kind of interesting. EQ with tubes, yeah. This is the way. Denying his quotes now. I'm not denying. I will admit that I think that as far as it's a good sounding headphone. It's not something I would listen to. Ooh, Turkey Hill eggnog. I heard that's pretty good. Crown Royal vanilla, pretty nice. Ooh, fantastic. That sounds freaking delicious. You've been training your neck. You gotta get those head movements in. It's shrugs. You grab 45-pound or weights in either hand, and you just do shrugs. That helps too with building up that neck thing there. And Utopia definitely needs a proper chain. That is for sure. What's funny is I really like the Utopia off of the Felix Audio stuff. That sounded really good off those. I really liked it off my... Honestly, so here's another thing, and people keep asking me about it, and I don't like bringing it up too much because I don't think you can get them right now. They had a supply chain thing, and they're generally kind of hard to get, but my ECP T4, like that, I have yet to put a headphone on that and not enjoy the sound coming out of that amp. I love that thing. And the only one I've heard that's kind of similar sound, but it's a much cheaper headphone and it's not quite it's not to the same level, just to be blunt about it, is the Hagerman Tuba. Has a similar kind of profile to it, and I don't think it's as pretty, it doesn't look as nice, but I do think that that's a great little amp there. Let's see. Oh yeah, I just got this. I just ordered it on that sale. Except I had dim sum for lunch, and I think I dripped some. I just noticed it on the thing. I think I dripped soy sauce on my shirt, so I'm gonna throw it in the wash after this. So I have now two of them because this one, my other one, I should go grab it. Like it's crazy. Like this whole section's gray on my other one that's just like this. So pretty cool. The Hollow Audio Gang. I'd love to, and like I think if I did, I would probably look at the Spring 3. I really like this. I really like the May. I think if I did, I'd probably do the Spring 3. The thing is I'd probably attach that though instead of to my headphone setup. I'd probably put it on my speaker setup because I think that thing just sounds great, and also the size of it. It just makes sense to have that like on the speaker setup. So I think that's what I would do with that one. But yeah, I would love to. Eventually, I'd like to get a Spring 3. So that's one of the ones that's on my list of wants. Let's see. Yeah, and I definitely prefer tubes. I will say, I mean, I have 1, 2, out of the amps I have currently, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 tube amps and 2, 3. I go about even. I'm about equal tube to solid state amp ratio. About four tubes and 4 solid states right now. Let's see. Has anyone tried the Elite? I haven't heard the Elite yet. But I've heard people that say they like it a lot. But I've also seen people that I know and trust to say that it's basically the same. It sounds better, but it still has the same issues that the regular one had. So Empyrean. But I don't know. Until I hear it, I can't really speak on it. I'm actually interested in the close back. That one should be interesting. How they do that, but we'll see. Yeah, the build on the Impy is fantastic. Yeah, sorry, I'm reading so while staring up into space. I'm actually reading. But and here's another thing too. Like, I think that chain matters for sure. Like, I don't think it's like the end all be all. But I think if you're trying to compare something, I think it is relatively important to have like an equal lateral chain, in like a balanced chain for like the performance. But I mean, at the same time, like, yeah, you can still listen to things, and things have plenty of power that are cheap amps to, everything. There's all that stuff. But yeah, let's see here. Software programs, but something like the Lokius, where you just I love that hardware analog EQ kind of thing with the knobs. That's really dope. Yeah, you're right, Progi. So ECP, yeah, they lost their supplier for a very specific part that was like a necessary specific part for the ECP, and I think for a lot of the other amps as well. So they're trying. Last time I heard, they were trying to find a new supplier to make them to their specs and what have you. So, but I don't know how that's going or anything like that. I'd also like to, yeah, Dave. I heard that LCD5 is supposed to be pretty good. I'm interested in hearing that one, and like people that I really trust really enjoy it and are getting rid of headphones because of it. So that's a good sign for that one. Thanks, Logan. Yeah, the ECP amps are dope. I can't wait for them to start pushing them out again and hopefully they get the supply stuff going, because I really think that more people need to hear that thing, because it's just a fantastic amp, and that's all of them. Like their solid states, like they're like I really wanted their the 3SF, I think is that thing. It's like the solid state version of the T4 basically, or not version. It's like a sister amp to it, but it's solid state, and it looks. And it sounds fantastic. I've heard it multiple times, but never had the chance to buy one. Not if you're a receiver, yeah. I'm waiting my Spring 3. Yeah, Spring 3s. I really enjoyed the May, and the Spring 3 is essentially just the downscaled version of the May. Bifrost 2 DAC Layer 3 tube is a real good pairing. But yeah, honestly, that's a fantastic option right there. Ace Spades, Reese. I just think it's funny, you guys. 4K headphones require 2K worth of source gear to fix the treble issues. I mean, depends on the headphone. It also depends on the person, because some people don't hear the treble issues the way other people do. So it's all very like a unique thing to some level as well. I think that's another problem in the world of audio is. People forget that we're all protagonists to our own story, right? And so you forget that everyone else around you is also a protagonist, and we all have different experiences with things, which then translate into how we perceive them. So even if we all hear the same, we all translate and perceive that sameness differently. If that makes sense. I know it's a contradiction to some level, but like I think that's true. Like I think everyone hears things technically like audio comes in the ear and you hear it the same, but everyone translates that differently, I think, and has different issues with it depending. Let's see. Yeah, I don't hear those daggers. Not too many. As far as 2 only 3 with something, yeah. And so I think that's some of the stuff that's kind of fun. Another thing you can do that I've been getting way into lately. In fact, Ant, I just took a picture of it. I'm going to go grab it real quick. I've been really diving into. There it is. So I got this. This is one of my more recent albums. I'm waiting on 2 more albums to come in, but I'm starting to build up my record collection again. And I'm a sucker for limited editions. So I got this one. I'm going to have to wipe this down later. The Go-Go Penguin. And this is actually one of my favorite records for like testing stuff. So you have Signal to the Noise is on this one. And that's one of my main test tracks. Fantastic album, and I've been really loving vinyl and just listening to records and stuff. Oh, such a like going into and doing this process of like grabbing and choosing the record and knowing that you're gonna have to listen to the whole thing and like going over to your record player, turning it on, setting it up, wiping down the record, making sure everything's set up, dropping the needle, sitting back down, and then just like kind of focusing in on that track and that music is like such a relaxing thing, especially if you're just, you know, imbibing or like doing, or just even just relaxing, you know, just having a nice relaxed time. Like that's such a, I don't know, like that to me, like that routine or that process of putting on a record and then sitting down and relaxing to it is, like that to me, it's just a really fun process, and it's a enjoyable thing to do. So that's another thing I'm starting to dive into a little bit more, is going into like the record world a little bit more. Let's see here. Looking to get a tube amp, Forge good enough for sus and 1266 Phi TC. The Forge is pretty powerful, man. I mean, that's a couple. I think it's like 5 watts. I think it's 5 watts into it. So I mean, it technically should be, but I don't know. People will say differently, because people love to throw up that wall of basically if it doesn't have like 100 watts or a speaker amp, then you can't drive this as far. So that's one of those things that kind of goes crazy. Yeah, David. Yeah, let me know if you want to sell this spring. But yeah, so I think that's something to take into account with specifically the Sasfara. As far as the 1266, I think you can run that off of a lot of different things and not have a problem though. So that's one of those ones that's kind of a cool one you can use. And the 1266, man, I will say that is another cool sounding headphone. Like that one hits. Like that one is like that's a fun headphone. It's expensive and it's built like a tank and it's built kind of wonk looking, but that is a fun headphone. And then give or take your feelings on the ownership of the company and all their other weirdness that happens there. That's up to you. But I mean, as far as just a straight headphone, that is a fun headphone. I might even switch off to some downmore here. Let's see here. All I can say is 800s, 8600s sound 50 times better on the Layer 3 than on my Person Soloist 3XP. Interesting. So I will say this. Yes, the Bursons, I think, this is one of the things about Burson that's really cool, I thought. The Burson was one of the most tube-like solid states I've heard in a long time, if that makes sense. Like, especially when you swap out to like one of the higher end op amps and stuff like that. Like, I was really impressed with the Bursons. That being said, I do think that the tube amps, like a proper tube amp, it just adds like a magic to everything. The tubes just have this, they layer in like this holographic sound. They get this depth to them. They get this, like, it's just so much more rich and full, the sound you get off of a tube amp, than you do off a solid state, in my experience. So, blues plus vinyl is my jam. Yeah, Muddy Waters. Oh, dude, love Muddy Waters. Black Keys Delta. Yes. Yeah, in fact, I think almost majority of my records, if they're not like limited edition, like game soundtrack vinyls, that's the ones I kept mostly. They're all blues or jazz generally, or like limited edition, like movie. And I only have a couple left that because I stopped listening to records like a couple years back. And I didn't have any, so I kept only the certain ones, and now I'm trying to rebuild. So I'm slowly buying new albums and building it back up. But yeah, I think that I think with records, it's important to think about the tracks and how they align, and do they tell a like a cohesive story through the tracks, if that makes sense. Like, can you listen to the whole thing through and it be a thing that you're not like kind of jumping between like different styles, or it makes it easy to listen to the whole thing, because you're there, you're listening to a record. When you drop that needle, it's, you know, I mean, you can lift it up obviously and move it around a little bit, but I mean, reality of the matter is you're listening to that record. So I think that's pretty interesting. That's what I like about records too, is that factor. And so I think with jazz, it naturally is one of those things where you can like sit down and it just goes through, and you can just listen forever. Sorry, I'm breathing all weird. Let's see. Where are you listening to the Utopian Safari? Equally, LC5 is last place. That's interesting. So I think for me personally, I like Utopia more than the Safari. I'm also more of a dynamics guy though. So I'm interested to see what the LCD5 does and how I would like that one. No phono, don't need another rabbit hole. I'm not ready for that. Yeah, I will, and that's another thing is vinyl is getting real. Dude, I didn't even realize it, but vinyl right now is like it's a huge market. Like, it's gotten super popular, and I think that's part of the reason why is because it's so, especially with the COVID stuff happening, it's so nice to just put on a record. Like, there's something about that just, like, it's kind of like I mentioned it before in certain things where it's like that process of like you picking your headphones you want to listen to. It's the, you know, you're looking at the feel of them in your hand, the feel of them on your head, the way they, you know, all that, the whole process of like that God, there's a word for it, but it's like the way that you do a thing, right? Like the process of getting into it and starting it and going and getting in, and like you get into this zone of wanting to, and like there's something about that that's kind of magic. And actually, yeah, honestly, CD is similar. I mean, you can do the same thing with CD. And that's the other thing too, is like vinyl takes up a lot of space, and they're heavy. And if you don't store them right, you can warp them. There's all sorts of, and if you need to clean them, you need to have certain things to like destatic them. And there's a whole bunch of stuff with vinyl that's not exactly not for everybody. Let's see. Have you tried the pairing of ECP Ravens 3F? Yes. So that's the one that the 3F, like I've been wanting a 3F, and every time I've had the opportunity to buy one, I wasn't in a place to buy one, and it's been one of the white whales for me, if that makes sense. And I love them. I've every time I've heard them, I want that. Like, that would be my perma stack, would be the Ravenswood with my ECP-T4. I think that stack, like that would be my jam. Those are fantastic. I really enjoyed those a lot. Especially the Ravenswood was with, I haven't heard it. Have I listened with the VC? No, I've heard it with the VO. I have not heard it with the VC, but I loved it with every headphone I've listened off of. The Ravenswood has been choice. So I would love to hear it off my VC though. You mentioned amps for your speakers. What are you getting in, or not ready to share that yet? So the speaker amp that I'm getting in is basically a Past Labs DIY speaker amp. It's the F6. It's the F6 version, DIY kind of speaker amp. And then I'm also getting a pre-stage, a pre that's a tube pre for that. And it's an Ellicott. It's an Ellicott, another DIY thing. I don't know why, man. I like the DIY stuff. As far as that goes, I think those are, you get a lot of bang for your buck, and depending on if you're building it or if you have somebody else building it, you can have some pretty cool stuff going on with that. So the reason I went with those is because they were highly recommended by the person that built the speakers that I have. So that's why I went with those. Let's see. Jinsei, do you guys have speakers or only headphones? I have obviously both. I actually, and right now, like I use for near field, I have my Metas, my LCD2s, LS50 Metas, LCD2, LS50 Metas 2, and that's what I use for my near field on my desk. And I have those paired with a Shit Vidar, the Shit Freya S. And I'm also using a tube preamp to get some tubeness on there. Sorry, I haven't talked this long in a long time, so like my voice is like, I'm getting the weird. Let's see, Manly Chinook. Oh man, Manly. So I've been trying to get Manly on the hook for an interview type thing, kind of like what we do with, like I did with Justin for Amson Sound and ZMF. I want to get them on for like just a hangout chat. I think that's one of the people I'm trying to get. Them. I'm trying to get somebody from VPI as well, the turntable maker, and maybe some other people. I got some fires, some little things going. But those are people I'm trying to get in, like somebody from those companies. And if anybody wants any like suggestions for me to kind of reach out to try and get on the channel, that's what I would like to have this live stream stuff be more about, is have more like guests, like make it a guest stream kind of thing where I have people from the industry in and we just chat and have a good time. I think that'd be really awesome. Oh, you know what? Actually, David, you mentioned Burson. I would love to get Burson on too. I think they do some pretty cool stuff. So maybe I'll reach out to them. Burson isn't sending me a soloist, but I should ask him. I should ask and see if I can get more stuff. I had that little funk, and it's floating around with some reviewers. I might try and get that back at some point because I wanted to. I think Burson was mentioning trying to get out some op amps to swap out and try and different ones and do like a video on that. But we'll see. Let's see. But yeah, I'd love to get some more Burson stuff. Will Burson send you the novel? Let's hope so. We don't want to have a Invadio moment and be knobless. No one wants to be knobless. Okay, so let's see. Audiophile said every headphone has fans and Colts though. Honestly, you could say that about every hobby, man. That's one of the things I've definitively found across the board in all the different hobbies I've been in. Everyone likes to choose a side for some reason, and whether that be for financial reasons or that was the first thing they got or whatever it is. There's always sides. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's fine. You can do that. I mean, look at the old video game console wars, for crying out loud. I mean, everyone likes to have a love. Everyone likes to have a passion, right? And so you can have those passions for those things. And I think that's fine. As long as you're not dumping on other people or being rude about it or a jerk, that's fine. That's cool. I mean, you have the Coke versus Pepsi, for crying out loud, or like, I'm trying to think of another, like Canon versus Sony or Nikon or, different camera makers. There's so many things that can happen that way. See here. Soloist GT. Yeah, I would really like to get one of those and just try out. Manly would be out. Yeah, I'm really hoping. I had a little exchange with them. It's the holidays, so it's tough. But like, I did have an exchange with them about possibly getting them on, and it would be cool. I think it'd be really dope because they have some really cool people there at Manly, and they're characters. So it'd be fun to get them on. Same with VPI. I'd really like to get one of the VPI people, just because they make. I mean, if you've never seen a VPI table, like. They are just exquisite, and they make some really pretty, like they're almost pure art, and then they perform ridiculously well. So it's like a great combo. Reese, oh wow, yeah. I've tried the GSX Mini. I've had the Burson Soloist. I had that one in with the clear top, and between the two. They're both fantastic. I think that the Burson was a little easier to live with, but it did have a couple naggles with certain things where like the volume pot wasn't my favorite. But I mean, as far as like, I did enjoy the Burson slightly more than the Mini, but the Mini I think was the more proper solid state, if that makes sense. Like it was the more like, if you were like a reviewer or more. Like, it was the better of the two as far as, like, that goes. If you were to have something that would be, I don't know. The Burson was a little bit warmer, especially with the different op amps. The guy from Spatial Audio is great. Okay, maybe I'll reach out to Spatial Audio. I'll look into that. Been looking at it. proportionality. A $4,000 headphone deserves an investment in DAC and amp. Yeah, I think so. Like, I think if you're paying that much money for a headphone, like, I think it'd be silly if you're buying a $4,000 headphone. First off, that's silly anyways, but I mean, it's the hobby of the world we live in. But, but if you're putting that on like something like a Magni Modi setup and being like, yes, like that, I think you're gonna get ridiculed a little bit. You're not ridiculed. You might be. You actually will if you depending where you post and talk about it at. But if as far as you might get sneered at, you might get thumbed. What's that? Thumbing your nose or whatever. I think there's some gatekeeping and but I mean rightly so. I mean, like, come on, if you're buying a $4,000 headphone, at least have a decent DAC amp setup. And not that the Magni Modi's a bad DAC amp, but I mean, it's a $200 setup, and you're putting a $4,000 headphone on it. I don't know. It just seems off. It's unbalanced in your chain. Not that money should be spent equally across that chain, but like I think that there should be some relative balance in what you're buying, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, and also, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're into speakers and headphones, I think that speakers, headphones, and IEMs, I think they all perform different functions. I do think that speakers are better than headphones, and headphones are better than IEMs, and that's how I would rate, like, as far as performance goes. But obviously at the top end of IEMs, you can be beating a lot of the mid to top range headphones, and then same with headphones. A lot of the top of the mid to top range can beat a lot of the mid range speakers. Like depending on what you're buying and getting into. So. Ducky's short clips. What? Hey, is it okay if I were to ask a question about my friends who are rude to me? I don't know what to do. Yeah, go for it. Any of you guys use a did from streamer? Send ads though. Yeah. But anyways, it's Ducky. If you want to ask that question, go for it. Be happy to try and answer it. But let's start wrapping it up. It's been about an hour. And kind of jump into the rest of our evenings, get back to it. Trying to keep these relatively within that 1 hour range. But yeah, so future stuff. Actually, might as well talk about that real quick. I do have some things that are coming down the pipe that I'll be talking about that I have here. Products, but obviously holidays are going to put somewhat of a slow time on it. But I'm really excited about some of these. So I just got this bad boy in from iFi, the Griffin. So I'll be messing with that here in the near future. Pretty excited for that. I have the T3 Plus that just came in. I need to do a thing on that. Still need to unbox it and all that fun stuff. And another fun one that I think is going to be really cool that I've been kind of holding on this for a bit because I kept getting stuff that I had to do and it kind of kept surpassing this. But I've had this for a bit. I still haven't unboxed it. But it's the TRM Bluetooth. And so you can essentially, with this, you can pop on any IEM. It comes with adapters, and you can essentially turn any IEM into, as long as it can have detachable cables, into a Bluetooth wireless, TWS. So kind of a cool product. But the thing I'm really excited about, which is silly, I know some people are going to be weird about this, but I'm really excited about this. I got this, the iFi Go Blue, and I don't know why, but I think this is such a cool product. I don't know. I can't wait to mess with it and play with it and see what I think. It has a little microphone too, so you can use it as a microphone. There's really cool, a lot of cool technology stuff coming. So those are the things I currently have on my plate to be working on. So yeah, so those are the things coming up. Let's see. So Sony, let's see. Clips also goes both ways. Marius. But pro consumer and a bunch of guys who actually rock and are super chill. Yeah, I'd like to talk to that. That'd be really cool. I love the Klipsch design. I think Klipsch makes freaking fantastic looking headphones. Fantastic looking speakers. I think those are, I love like especially their design with the copper and black. I love that aesthetic. Let's see. Have you guys heard of yours yet? Nope, I have not. A space pie. Yeah, pies are awesome. So Ducky, here we go. So me and my friends have been friends for a year or two. We used to play Minecraft, Call of Duty, Fortnite games like that. They normally call me ugly and stupid, that I should just go die. Wow, well, you probably need new friends. That's right off the bat. Need new friends. I would avoid those people. That's toxic, and you should probably not have them around you. My other friend who is a girl says I should unfriend them, which, yeah, the friend that is a girl is correct. Unfriend them. Those are not your friends. I mean, that's not things that friends do. I mean, if it's like a ribbing and people are having they're just joking and it's just jokes going too far, that's definitely a thing. But then, and if you want to keep friends with them, you just need to be upfront and tell them like you don't appreciate it. It's not something you want to have happening. So I think that's the thing. Yeah, I would just do that. Find new friends, problem solved. Yeah, I think that those aren't really friends, especially if you've already voiced that you don't want to be, that you don't like it. Then they're just being bullies and they're taking advantage of the fact that they can bully you and you take it. So, anyways, so hopefully the advice for the night: don't allow toxic people around, man. Actually, there's a really good guy I follow on Instagram, and he has this great thing that he does. He does street art. And he did a thing where he said, it was like a street art thing. It says, it's like basically you can unfollow people, right? Like unfollow people that aren't your friends. So just do that. Like those aren't your friends. So if they can't accept you for who you are and be generally nice to you, then, unfriend them. Those aren't your friends. You don't need that in your life. Find people that are worth being around. And that goes for everybody, Life's too short to be surrounded by negativity all the time. So on that note, I think everyone have a great rest of your evening. And if I don't see you guys, I might try and put out a video before Christmas, but we'll see on one of these things. But we'll see. I need to get some time with them. I might do some other stuff. We'll see. We'll hopefully everybody has a great Christmas and New Year's. And we'll after the New Year's, I think I have some new things I'm trying to have in the fire. I'm trying to work on with some different people and what have you. So hopefully we can get some more stuff going on and get some exciting things out there. And I'd like I said, I want to try and get more guests on from the industry or just from different places. I'd also like to dive into more things like talking more about just whiskey, or like, if there's anything you guys want to talk about or have me do a video on, leave a comment and I'll try and do my best to do that. I'm a big gamer. I play right now I'm addicted to Destiny and Halo, the new Halo. So I wouldn't mind doing like a video on that maybe, even though I'm not like a streamer or gamer per se. I mean, I like playing the games, but so I'm like that stuff. But if there's anything you want me to look into or do a thing on, happy to check it out and try. So, because this is fun. I enjoy it. And I like chatting with you guys. So, guys and gals. All right. Anyways, sports disc. That was one thing I probably will not do. And I'm not the biggest sports guy. I like watching sports, sure, but I'm not like a big sports guy. And I like playing sports. But anyhow, you guys have a happy holidays, and we'll catch you on the next one. And enjoy. Cheers.